It is, yeah.
So if you
but that's video for you.
Oh my god, look.
All right.
My clown makeup. Oh, hello, Kitty the King. What's going on, baby?
Talk, let's go.
She's a big Oddworld fan.
Oh, hell
She's
yeah.
a huge Oddworld fan.
That's awesome.
Hey, baby, how you doing? She's a goodie. She's
Also,
in the Discord all the time.
Just so we don't focus
we are looking.
If you want to bring up your stuff on your phone.
That's probably better, actually. Let me go ahead and do it. But what about my notes? Okay.
That's you can cycle.
Because I was rewatching it and I was like, oh, I'm looking at that a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me too.
And it's just like, really, it's an excuse to look at myself.
Yeah.
Hi, baby. Like so we're talking about American Cryptid. I research mostly American Cryptid.
Oh, that's still the focus. I just didn't want to
We hear about Nessie.
Yeah.
We hear about
Bigfoot, which is American.
Vampire do you consider cryptid?
No, unless you're in Romania
Poland.
in the 1600s.
Poland.
Even then, only
Poland.
barely, because there's nobody who really believes them anymore. And for it to be a cryptid, it has to A, actively be believed in it, and B, not have enough biological proof to count.
I did miss but I said quit. Oh, you meant it's Quitpids. Quitpids.
I'm down. We'll talk about cryptids if that's what we need to talk about.
You know what? Since Candy's here, I would love to get Lauren here.
Yeah.
Because he lived in Vermont.
Yeah.
And he went into the woods a lot. And he tells me how he used to fish and shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, it was beautiful. And I'm like, please tell me you ran into something creepy. That would make my life so happy. If you
and it would suit his personality.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Not that I've ever met the guy.
I love him. I'm like, tell me scary stories.
I love it.
Honestly, a horror game made by Lauren Lanning. I should tell him that.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways. Not about my job. But, okay.
Hi, other people.
Hi, baby. Hey, Taco. What's going on? I know. That would be so cool, Candy. I never want to give out, suggestions about what people from Oddworld should do, because then people are like, oh, they should totally do it. I'm going to get on this. I'm like, oh, wait, no, I didn't mean to do that.
I was just,
Just being a friend. But hey, Taco, what game are you playing right now? I hear you're back at streaming too. What's going on? Taco is an amazing guy. We used to hang out at TwitchCon and all the time. I hope you're good too. This is my best friend Kyle. We both love weird shit. We've been friends since high school.
So we decided that we'd talk about weird shit on Sundays.
Hopefully they could hear. I'm like, we're not therapist.
Yeah.
Okay, so vampires are not considered. So what is a cryptid? Is it a type of fucked up animal?
Technically, what makes
a
cryptid is that it is a creature that has widespread enough belief in a particular culture.
Yeah.
And
like Mothman.
Doesn't have enough biological evidence for it to be considered an undiscovered animal. So, when you talk about, Bigfoot or Nessie, it's really easy to be like, well, if it was real, it's an undiscovered animal somehow. I don't know. I have no idea how the fuck they've managed to not discover it yet. But we have the footprints, we have this, blah, blah, blah. But, you don't have hair, you don't have scat, you don't have...
footprints.
Yeah.
And if it is, it's mostly made up.
Right.
It's mostly used as a type of... Wasn't there some guy had some kind of huge footprints, he made this?
Famously.
And honestly...
most of the...
Sounds great.
Yeah. Oh,
I want to do that.
That's a fun time.
Let's go to Galveston and do that.
I don't want to create a Galveston Bigfoot. That's the thing, is cryptids, when they are made up, they escape people.
Yeah.
And then they just
disappear.
Haunts the region forever. And then people, and sometimes it'll even cause, hysteria. Later, I'm going to talk about some of my favorite, cryptid hysteria moments that have happened. But
one of my favorites is, the Jersey Devil. So the story behind the Jersey Devil, because I was like, what the fuck is this thing? It looks like a crane, with the legs. And I
like a kangaroo.
Yes. But the thing is, it was Mrs. Leeds is Robert Leeds and his wife and her wife. She had 12 babies.
Which is also the reason why it's other names the Leeds Devil.
The Leeds Devil, yeah. And I love this, where she was just she got pregnant for her 13th time, and she's like, fuck this baby, fuck this kid, it's going to be the devil. And all of a sudden, it was born healthy, and then it warped into an animal.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I really think he was just an asshole in the community, and maybe something horrific happened to the child. It was born malformed.
Yeah.
And then that's where it's let's get this fucking guy out of here. But supposedly people have seen it.
Oh, yeah.
And
for the first 100 years of sightings, it was considered to be the Leeds baby. It still was. That was still the story. But when that first 100 years passed, it kind of changed, where it stopped being viewed as this literal demonic child that lives out in the woods around Jersey, and it evolved into...
it's New Jersey!
Have you ever heard of the Jersey Devil 1909 sightings?
No.
Okay.
I mean, maybe, but I want him to tell.
Yeah, you're fine. I like that. Nice cover. So, in 1909, for whatever reason, Jersey Devil sightings have been going back to the 1700s, but in 1909, there was just this massive panic of Jersey Devil sightings. Mm-hmm. And it started off just where you'd expect, where Jersey Devil myths actually are. But then it suddenly, it made it as far as, New Hampshire and Maine, just fucking everywhere. Apparently there was a whole cart of people in an electric trolley car who claimed that the Jersey Devil, landed on the top of it and, harassed them and whatnot. But the thing that was very, very, very fun about this entire 1909 panic is it was hundreds of accounts. Hundreds. It was doctors. It was a senator.
So it was actually people who probably had proper education.
Yeah.
And
it was people who were upstanding in the community who did not have a history of fame-seeking or being the town weirdo or whatever.
And they probably were setting up a lot to lose to be like, no, this actually happened.
Exactly.
I'm a fucking senator. I'm a fucking doctor. This doesn't
happen. And what made it so incredibly fun is just the fact that in that one single year, these 300 odd sightings. I'm making that number up. I have no idea what the actual number is. I just know it was at least over 100.
By the way, this channel is not for facts.
Oh, yeah.
We discuss
We're not experts.
We should totally do a live stream of us looking for fucking Texas Bigfoot.
So, I told you I had ideas the other day. Just lock that in. So, anything we talk about here
it's fine.
It comes from sources that are true and real, but the topics themselves and what we say about them, it's just two friends bullshitting about something we find interesting.
Yeah.
So, if the number's wrong, if the date's wrong, if the name's wrong, we're not lying to you, we're just dumb.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
We will get off topic and off focus 50 times.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's us.
See, we are two ADD people. That's our love language.
That's why we're friends.
Just off topic.
That's why. That's why you want to maybe listen to us, maybe. But so the 1909 thing eventually, slowed down, kind of came to an end.
Yeah.
Very, very slowly. Took a long time. And when it did, there were all these footprints, and they were footprints that were on roofs of houses, it was running and jumping.
What kind of?
They looked like horse footprints. They were hooved.
Reindeer?
Yeah. Sadly, it was not in December. Okay, I guess 2 children. Santa is a cryptid, but the base definition, no, Santa's not a cryptid.
I'm getting a shirt that says Santa's a cryptid.
I mean, we can make him a cryptid. It doesn't take a lot of work.
Krampus.
Oh, Krampus isn't.
Everything's a cryptid. Ashley says everything is cryptid. I'm sorry.
No.
Keep going.
So, ultimately, though, the thing with this 1909 thing is for the longest time, people who actually believed in the Jersey Devil and held out hope that this thing existed and made their region interesting, eventually found out, that we're talking now in the 1960s, 1950s, that there was a museum that was going out of business way back when in 1909. And they went to their charismatic kind of con man of a friend and basically said, hey, I just, need some help. My business is going to shut down. How do I drum up business? And they had a little display on local legends, one of them being the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
So the con man, without telling the business owner or anyone else in the community, he built all these elaborate ways that he could leave these hoof prints in really strange spots. And then he called in fake stories to various radio outlets and all these other spots because he knew that if he did that, once the hoof prints started showing up, people's paranoia when they saw other animals would lead to more things.
Yeah.
So this entire 1909 incident is one of those spots where, the Jersey Devil is not real.
It's no, Jersey. Do they have an accent? It's Jersey.
It's not that. they have an accent, but I can guarantee you it's not that.
New York, but it's not New York. Obviously, I grew up in Texas. I've been in New York once. Obviously, I'm an expert.
Yeah, no, you were right, and on Jersey Devils, you were in New York.
I mean, it has the legs of a crane and the head of a goat and wings of a dragon.
That being said, the Jersey Devil is awesome. It kind of is a Pokemon.
Okay.
Actually, I can't wait till Pokemon Generations get that.
Wouldn't it be funny if there was an actual cryptozoologist who actually tried to capture and be like, no, I'm Pokemon hunting?
I mean, it's kind of what it is. actually, if you want to listen...
That's a good title for this video, is just looking for cryptids Pokemon.
Yeah, Pokemon hunting. I mean, that's kind of the whole concept. So, like, to roll it back to very, very, very first thing you said and asked is, like, what the actually is even cryptids? Like, is Santa a cryptid? So, like, the term cryptid and the term cryptozoology didn't even start getting used at all until the 1980s. But the concept's been around literally since the dawn of time, right? Like, forever and ever. And there's a ton of real animals that used to be cryptids. Yeah. Which I love. I think that's so fun.
Which animals?
There's a handful. The giant panda was a cryptid in China for almost all of China's history. They didn't believe in them. They thought they were monsters. And, like, they had their own supernatural legacy and all these stories and myths that surrounded them. They were talked about just like we talk about Bigfoot. Yeah. Where some guy would be like, yeah, I saw one. It was, like, 10 foot tall about eating bamboo. And people would be like, oh, yeah, sure, you fucking saw one. And
now, what is a huge panda? Like, what is a
giant pandas? I think they're, like, 7 foot tall.
That is a fucking giant panda.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And are usually regular pandas, like, 4 feet tall? Yeah. They're pretty small.
No, giant pandas are giant. They're very scary in their sweet panda ways. But for years, that was... Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right. Kangaroos were cryptid. Now, their status as a cryptid was a tiny bit different because history is hilariously racist so often. And
what?
What? I have no idea. And so a lot of cryptids, not all of them...
Sound like a
lot of them, the people who lived around these animals, they knew they were real.
Yeah.
Duh. But because the Europeans didn't, they were literally listed as cryptids or mythological creatures. And then when people would be like, no, seriously, like, we see them once a year or so.
Yeah.
And Europeans would be like, sure you do. I bet. You crazy tribal folk. And that was that. Like, it would be listed as a monster. Kangaroos were one of those. For the longest time, Europeans did not believe in kangaroos.
That blows my mind. I had no idea about that.
My favorite one...
This is why we hold a show, so we learn stuff.
Yeah. My favorite one ever is the giraffe, which has...
He's a weird-looking motherfucker.
Giraffes are fucking aliens. They're not from here. I know it. They're spooky. They're weird. Their spine is shaped like this. I don't like it.
Like that? Like this?
Yeah, like this. Like this? And then I don't like the way they pee. So I think that proves that they are cryptids still, even though they're in trees
I just
now.
like how they made, through evolution, their necks grow longer with trees. The trees are like, I really don't like you biting me. I'm going to grow taller.
Get taller.
And the giraffe's like, I'm going to do a Sailor Moon transformation, and I'm going to have my neck be even longer. Yeah. And that's my favorite evolution.
No, it's so funny. It's so good.
I saw like a picture of it when I was younger and it stayed with me. Of just like...
Yeah. No, they're so silly. And also the best thing to do at the zoo is feed the giraffes. Hands down, the best thing. But yeah,
Someone just said, I'm sorry, HTML, I love you. Already 3 buttons off. It's time to take the shirt off and get on with it.
So you're absolutely correct. Unfortunately, though, this right here, this is a good look. If I go one button lower at all, it's suddenly not.
He used to have a Batman
shaved in my chest.
Shaved in his chest, and I think you should do that. I think he should bring that back.
Also, most of my shirts don't have the appropriate button. Oh, this one I could button. Most of my shirts I don't.
It's also, we're in Texas. It's hot. It's December. It's 85 degrees.
Also, when you're literally a shaved Bigfoot, like, clothes...
He sweats a lot.
I try not to wear...
Oh, I need to get some powder. I'm going to be like... Okay, but giraffes, cryptids, kangaroos. Candy the Cane had that.
One of my favorite things...
We should do cryptid bingo.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I can't believe you... Really? Oh my god, we are psychically connected. That was impressive. That's like on my list of ideas.
In another life, we were related. Yeah, I really believe that.
But giraffes, there's actually in like King Arthur and Camelot legends, there's a monster called the Questing Beast. And the Questing Beast is like literally one of the great King Arthur legends. But the way it's described, it's got the stripes of a leopard. It's got the stilted legs of a stork. It's got a long serpentine neck, and it ends with 2 horns. And it's literally some European astronaut doesn't know shit describing a giraffe the only way he could.
Yeah.
But it became the Questing Beast with time. And if you like Google a picture of Questing Beast, it's done in that mythological way where like, its head's literally a snake head and stuff.
It's made up. It's not melded together coherently. It's just literally different parts.
Yeah.
Of an animal. But someone also had Lex Neville. Hey, sweetie, how you doing? Heard of Mokel Mimbe or Bimbe? If I'm not saying that right, I apologize.
That's the Pteranodon one, right? I'm a big fan, actually. When I was a kid, I had an encyclopedia on cryptids, which at the time had the colossal squid in it, which is now proven to be
Isn't that amazing?
So when we were kids,
that terrifies me.
Yeah, that is one cryptid.
I was like, that's fake.
Yeah. Giant squids got proved a million years ago, but not a million years ago, a long time ago. But colossal squids have gotten proven in our own lifetime.
Yeah.
And that book straight up had them in it as a Bigfoot, which is funny to think that happened when we were around. But yeah, Mokele-Mimbe, or is that the one that's the brontosaurus? I always forget it. Oh, the Kangamate is the pterodon. That's yes, two very, very super fun. I know shit, man. I know dumb shit.
Well, this is why I want to put them on camera, so I can be like, hey, I'm gonna poke your brain, and I'm gonna have people watch this because it's fun.
No, I just like getting to talk. The fact that you are like, hey, let's talk about that weird shit we haven't talked about yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
all I want to do.
Oh, don't worry. When
world.
we start getting into
there's so many
more
topics.
paranormal stuff. Oh,
not
God.
even just paranormal. I want to talk about anything weird. Like if we want to have a whole night where we talk about paraphilias and fetishes, I'm fucking down. Like as long as it's weird, I want in.
Speaking of last week, we had a great conversation about the San Antonio train tracks because we were talking about ghost haunting's funny and abnormal and what's happened to us individually. And I made my mom watch that, and she's like, "Fuck no." So I think she's starting to finally believe you.
I love it. That makes me so
okay,
happy.
so we were talking about what are there some animals? So kangaroos, giraffes.
Kangaroos and giraffes are two of the big ones. And yeah, it was the sauropod. Yeah, I got that.
Oh, the Fresno night crawlers. I do too.
That's a fun one. They're so silly, but like spooky in its own way and very fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, another one that is a good example of one that's become real with time, and the most recent major one is the okapi. Do you know what an okapi is?
Yes, I love the okapi.
Yeah.
I hope I didn't. I was just like, oh my god, it's such a fucking freak. It's such a cute freak. I love it.
And the okapi, keep in mind, there's a difference between undiscovered animals and cryptids.
Yeah.
All the ones we're listing were treated as actual cryptids. They had myths, they had legends. Yeah. The okapi was one of those, and a lot of the Africans who lived around the okapi, even they weren't totally certain it existed.
Well, it's a very solitary animal. Which
and it makes a weird noise as well.
What's the noise that it makes?
It just, it's described, it never makes its noise around people, ever. But it will, like, occasionally at night, and when it's solitary, and not even when it's panicking, it'll make a noise that's described as, like, a, like, distant yell. But, like...
Like how cougars scream like women at night?
Yeah, and like legends of jackalopes have them mimicking people at a distance and whatnot. Yeah, it's the same thing. But the okapi didn't get discovered until 1901, and I, like, forever and ever and ever, there was actually, like, Bigfoot-style expeditions to go prove that the okapi was around.
I wonder when they actually discovered that they shit their pants. Like,
holy shit, it's actually an okapi, yeah. Well, and then,
Someone, I think humans have killed off enough animal species so far. They probably killed off the last cryptids. Or, you know what? That is a very good point. I didn't even think about that.
So there's actually, it's a great thought because there are many creatures, like the Komodo dragon, actually, that used to be cryptids that in the short time since they've been discovered, they've gone from we didn't even know they exist straight to they're ridiculously endangered.
I turned off my mic. I hope no one heard that.
No, you're perfect. But yeah, the Komodo dragon's a great example of one that was a cryptid forever, myths, legends, the whole 9 yards.
And is Komodo dragons on? No, it's not the Galapagos, is it?
No, it's actually literally Komodo Island, which a lot of people wouldn't know. But
I get the Galapagos lizards mixed up with Komodo for some reason in my head. That's
I get it.
Smart.
I totally get it. No, but the Komodo dragon, the way it was described of this four-limbed, prowling, large creature with a bite that wasn't poisonous but would kill you in minutes. Like, that's a scary thing, and they're big. They're really big. And, but, we discovered them. We were like, hey, that's not a cryptid, that's an animal. And then immediately we ruined Komodo Island, and it's not very long until they're almost
We're really
extinct.
good at that.
Oh, we're
super fun.
We're humans.
Let's go search for it.
Yeah,
in the meantime, let's raise and break.
We're beautiful parasites on the surface of the earth. That's what we do, man. It's great. But yeah, my favorite thing about this particular group of creatures, though, that like now they're not cryptids, is they're animals, is cryptozoologists will point to them all the time.
Yeah.
Be like, that's what we're going to do with Bigfoot. Yeah. We're going to prove he's real and that he owes me rent, and it's going to be a whole thing.
If we find Mothman and he doesn't have a thick ass,
I'm
going to be very upset.
Yeah, I feel like Mothman...
I wonder if there's some erotica written about Mothman.
Oh, there is.
I want to be surprised.
Oh, no, there is.
Because I have a lot of girlfriends into monster fucking more than I thought. Yeah. And now I'm getting slowly pulled into this world. And now I'm like, Mothman did got not ass.
And Mothman's hot.
He's kind of hot.
Question. Mothman's kind of hot. But not the statue that you're talking about. That statue's not hot.
He's not hot.
He's
but
a good ass.
The booty. I'm like, I could eat it. No. I'm like, that's dinner.
I like Mothman with big, classic red spheres. That's my hot Mothman.
I'm sure that now we have to look up cryptid erotica.
Oh yeah. You act like I have.
And I'm going to send it to my girlfriends and be like, hey, I found something for you. And they'll be like,
oh, thanks. Yeah,
thanks. I'm going to go collect the dildo of it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, knowing who you're talking about, yeah, that's absolutely correct.
Let's see. So, Mothman's ass, hell yeah, Kenny the Cane. So Lex Neville says, might be a few pockets of ground sloths left. There's been reports of large animals with armor, which could be referring to the bony bits under their skin. That's a good point. But true.
That's interesting. Yeah. Also, some appreciation for Mothman's ass.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
no. That's why so many cryptids that are still cryptids today, why like they're described as, plesiosaurs and brontosaurs and pteranodons, is because like, animals die off. Also, humans make animals die off. And the chance that there's some stragglers or such a small breeding pool left that you might actually still have some out there is possible.
I did come across an interesting thing with goatman.
Yeah.
So there's different types of goatman. Like there's Lake Town goatman, which is like a goatman, and it's here in Texas.
Yeah.
And it's like a mix of like a goat and a sheep and like legs and human and scales. But one of my favorite things is there's a theory that it's a descendant from ancient Greece from satyrs. And then it goes into like mythology, and I love that idea that once upon a time we did have fairy tale creatures, and then we're like, no, die. And I think that's my favorite theory.
That's so fun.
Because it's so out of this world. Yeah. But I swear to God, if satyrs were real, that was their connection.
So when it comes to cryptids being like mythic or like that, like that's a perfect example.
Like descendants of something.
Yeah, or tied to the Fae, or tied sometimes to aliens, depending on like Mothman gets tied to aliens all the time.
I don't know. There's something I look at and I'm like, that's somewhere.
Yeah.
That, like, what's one animal that I'm completely sure? Anything under the ocean, I'm like, this is an alien. According
to the cartoon Owl House, giraffes are from the Boiling Isles, and I believe it.
I like how that main witch character is based on
You've got this.
No, from Tenchi Muyo.
Oh, yeah, obviously, Ryoko.
Ryoko, thank you. I almost said Riku, and I'm like, wait, not Riku.
Ryoko. So clear. Even with the tooth.
Like, I'm like, and they explicitly said, she's based off Ryoko because she's the shit. And I'm like,
love it.
90s anime.
Yeah.
That's our time.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. No, fortunately. It was a great time.
Yo, yeah.
That dubbing?
That's more what I was saying, unfortunately, too. Man, there's some questionable...
So Owl House, yes.
Drafts. They acknowledge that they're not from here. No, so some cryptids remain mythic or supernatural instead of becoming this kind of undiscovered monster phenomena. It's like one of the weirdest things with like Bigfoot. It's like 90% of the time, Bigfoot's just like a big missing link ape human. But then, like, sometimes he's got, like, superpowers and shit, depending on, like, the legend or who's in a...
I mean, someone said this, right? If you saw this at night, that's a Damascus goat.
Yeah,
and if I saw that at night, I'd be like...
No, I'd be fucking terrified.
I'd call the police. Okay. Like, that looks like a person. That looks like something from Wicked.
Also, it's weird little ball sacks hanging off of its neck. I'm not like a huge.
It looks precious as a child, and then
the kids are adorable.
They're adorable, and then like most of us, we're precious, and then we grow up to be trolls.
Yeah. But so I don't want to like go on about Bigfoot forever because he's the most famous American cryptid. But like one thing with Bigfoot I love is because
there's 50 Bigfoots.
There's a bajillion Bigfoots.
There's one for each state.
There's one for correct.
There's a Bigfoot for each state.
And then across the globe, there's a Bigfoot for every country, basically.
What if it's just an old hairy big guy?
So there's almost truth to that.
I'm sitting next to one.
Yeah, no, I make the joke I'm a shaved Bigfoot all the time because I got big horrible feet and I'm hairy as hell. And I think Bigfoot legends are so common, and I won't just say Bigfoot, like Yetis, Sasquatch,
Maggie on Man.
Yes. Yeah. Skunk apes. They're. I think ultimately the reason that myth is so prevalent and so easy and why it pops up everywhere is because when you think you're alone in the woods and you see a big human or humanoid at a distance, there's almost nothing that's going to spike fear in your imagination as fast and as bad. And the thing is the next time that happens to somebody, which it's pretty likely, it's going to correlate. Instead of it being two stories, it's now one story. It's this thing prowling the woods. And it's just going to keep on happening indefinitely. But where it gets interesting is some tales of the skunk apes, especially in like Louisiana and the big thicket, which we live near. It just...
Which part of Texas is that?
Technically, it's basically if you leave Houston, you know when you're driving to... Have you ever driven to New Orleans?
Yes.
So you know when you're going to New Orleans, eventually you end up on that bridge that's just like 1,000,000 miles?
Yes.
And it's just water and woods?
Yeah.
So that is all the big thicket. Yeah. But the thing is the big thicket goes for hundreds of miles up, and then it's very wide as well. And the big thicket is famous for having a huge amount of weird shit in it, and no cities or towns or settlements. Big thicket's one of the last... It's actually considered one of the last North American jungles, which it's not just woods, it's considered a jungle, which is crazy. But the Big Thicket's got all types of myths, and it's skunk ape myths, aka its own personal Bigfoots. They're awesome. They're so fun.
I just love how it's become a national or a state thing. How we all have a state bird, we all have a state flag, we all have a state whatever flower, and then we also have a state Bigfoot. And I wish we all had like different decorations. And now I think of like a Congress of Bigfoots. You know, I love that image.
1,000,000 years.
Oh my, a Cajun Bigfoot.
Oh, he's so cute.
He'd eat so much. He'd eat a big cat from the Opelousas.
Cajun Bigfoot's cute. I like him. He's really easy for my mind's eye to envision.
Oh, hey, Ligers. Okay, so hold on. Lex Neville. Like Flatfish, imagine looking at your parents with their weird eyes and thinking you got away with it, then puberty hits and one of your eyes is like, I've got my bags, I'm off. I said it's mental illnesses.
Yeah, that's one of these, because that's real. Yeah, Flatfish and Flounder got it bad. That's unfortunate. And Dabs.
But like cryptids, big squid. Do you think there's a cryptid that is just an undiscovered animal?
Yeah, absolutely. And existing ones, the only one I ever used to make a case for has since been proven to be an actual animal. There was a cryptid called the Devil Bird, and it was basically its myths and legends was that it was this literal demonic entity from hell that would prey on lost souls at night. And turns out, it's a bird. Who would have thought? It's just a bird. And
it was just a creepy looking bird.
It's just a creepy bird with a creepy sound and horrible eyes. Horrible, awful eyes.
Like shoebill birds?
Yeah.
Like, they're dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Those are fucking dinosaurs. Like, emus are dinosaurs. Like, they're just terrifying. But imagine, I could definitely think of a time where... I think it's shoebill with really big...
Yeah. And the eyes are kind of a little too down to fuck.
I can kind of see where that would be considered a cryptid before finding out.
Yeah, before, like, really interacting with it and understanding. Well, it's like, this isn't a cryptid, but it's the same concept. Oh, don't drop it. Nope, I lost it. It's fine. It's gone forever now. But
that's okay.
It'll come back.
It'll come back. It'll come back. It may come back in 2 days.
So, one of those things, there's certain ones that kind of like, they're on the line of whether it even counts as cryptid because they're more just baked into mythology. Yeah. And a lot of American cryptids really are old Native American myths that never left the area.
And I know there are some myths they're not comfortable talking about. For example, skinwalkers.
Yeah.
I love the idea of skinwalkers. I think skinwalkers are the only cryptid that actually genuinely scare me.
Yeah, because it's spooky as fuck.
But at the same time, the Navajo tribe is like, we're not going to talk about this. This isn't your shit. This is our shit. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to be told if it's right or wrong. And I totally respect that. At the same time, I love them. Like, I love the idea. Absolutely. But I want to be respectful and be like, oh, it's not my business. But you are part Choctaw. Yeah. You can talk about it. Not Navajo shit.
Yeah, I was going to say, not Navajo,
Does Choctaw have any? I'm sure.
Dude, Choctaw culture is very good. We don't have a whole lot of cool legends, per se. Not really. Also, I don't know why this just popped in my brain. I forgot about this. You know what?
Dan's here. Hi, Dan.
Hi.
Dangly Plums has ass. Cryptids are like all the crazy stuff in the Appalachian Mountains. Cryptids are like Bigfoot, Jersey Devil,
Loch Ness Monster,
Bessie, Nessie.
Yeah.
We have a Nessie. Her name is Bessie.
Yep.
And she's up north.
Yep.
I believe.
Lake Erie.
Yeah, Lake Erie.
Yep.
And she sounds adorable.
Yeah, she's adorable.
I want to go see her.
We also have Champ in Lake Champlain, who, if you go to any of the cities on that lake, you could buy all the Champ merchandise you could possibly crave. He's got significantly more proof he exists than the Loch Ness Monster, but he's way less famous because his name's Champ, which is a shitty name for a monster.
I think it's great. It sounds like a dog.
Yeah.
It sounds like a dog. Hey, Chop!
Yeah,
I just love the idea of an adorable monster. Just like, yeah, I've been here forever. What the fuck's wrong with y'all? Like, I'm just chilling.
Oh, yeah. So, you ever meet my friend Choopy?
What does it look like? I may need a picture. You don't have to show it now.
Okay, well, later I'll
We'll
check.
pretend
So,
I'm in the
Choopy is a friend of mine who will die on this hill. He won't... This is the most important thing in his life. We call him Choopy. His name is Choopy because he claims he saw the chupacabra.
Now, what does a chupacabra look like?
It depends on who you ask.
There you go.
It depends on what region you're in.
Yes.
So the chupacabra as a creature is probably one of the least defined cryptids that there is. The only thing that is defined is it drinks the blood of goats.
I think it's a chihuahua.
That's
I think it's just a really mad chihuahua.
They're described as big.
No.
But not huge.
Dan, why did I grab my breast? Dangling eyes, Dan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. But so the El Chupacabra, the El Chupacabra. I'm so fucking white.
the Chupacabra.
Yeah.
Rest in R.I.P. peace. R.I.P. in peace.
The Chupacabra, the whole deal with it is its legends properly didn't even start till the 1990s, which is silly. It's like when you saw Chupacabra in Scooby Doo and shit.
Yeah.
It was recent. It was only a year or two old of even a concept.
Yeah.
But the wave of dead goats that were so desiccated and so drained of blood that happened in the mid-90s to the late 90s all across northern Mexico and southern Texas is still, that's one element of the Chupacabra story that still isn't actually explained today. Nobody knows why.
Well, there's stories
and there's some
of
thoughts.
Locusts wiping out wheat fields.
Yeah.
Is there a carnivorous insect that could probably not
drain all that blood?
This isn't fucking Prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
You know?
but it's a good logical jump to go, okay, what's a parasite or something we can explain. Yeah. But yeah, Choopy, legitimately, honestly, and you will meet him because he's a good friend of mine, but Choopy claims he's seen the Chupacabra and he fully believes it, and I love it. I love how confident he is about it. I respect the fuck out of it.
I want to hear his story firsthand.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell it. It's his story to tell. I just be aware you're one step removed from somebody who's seen the Chupacabra.
Before we get too far away from the subject, can I tell you an interesting theory I had on skinwalkers?
Please.
So the whole point of skinwalkers is really a skinwalker is a witch, and it's they're pretty. So it's what happens if you have a good witch and a bad witch, and good witches are healers. Bad witches are people who think they can change and transform and use things for evil, and they say it's a witch that went to the dark side. What I think is it could be a name for people so heinous that psychopaths, one who wears a face to be human, and that's to me a modern skinwalker.
Right.
You have people who are so
just sociopathic,
deplorable, psychopathic, and they just wear a face. So it's I don't know if that's just me kind of putting it to my everyday theory about a skinwalker.
No,
this person isn't fully... Oh, did someone comment? Hold on.
No, yeah, you're fine.
But I was just okay, but how can this relate to modern day?
Yeah, for sure.
And I thought maybe in the... I don't know their history. I don't know their traditions. I am not in the Navajo community. They don't want to tell stuff, but I just thought that's an interesting theory.
No, it definitely is.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, think about it. For most of human history, we have always described almost all mental health.
Skinwalker, yes, is a demonic being.
Through the problems of... through mythology. And, demonic possession wasn't just used to describe, Catholics who thought they were possessed. Demonic possession was used for a huge amount of mental illnesses and whatnot. And it kind of lays in that same place of, it wouldn't surprise me at all that... rolling the clock back 200 years, you have some charming, nice guy who murders all of his neighbors, and he's a skinwalker.
He's a skinwalker. He has dead eyes.
Yeah.
Have you met people with shark eyes?
Oh, yeah.
And, you're just
Every once in a while, it's rare. Yeah. It is rare. Every once in a while, I do, and I'll be looking at myself. I'm like,
and I don't mean dark colored eyes.
No,
I do not mean dark brown colored eyes. Yeah, I just mean eyes that literally have no emotion in them. Yeah. They have no shine. They almost have no reflection.
Oh yeah.
And I don't want people thinking just because they have like dark brown eyes.
No. Shark eyes, like the eyes of a predator.
Yeah, like you just, and they look black, and it's not the fact that they're colored a certain way. No, it's just.
No, absolutely.
And that's not even fair to sharks, man. They're trying to live, but they're predators.
Okay, this is not about cryptids, but I have to ADD talk about it. I brought it up the other day, but now I have to finish talking about it. I love it. Do it. Have you heard anything about the fucking, I think it's Finland shark? The piss shark?
Piss shark?
Piss shark.
P-I-S-S?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Okay, I have to. You sharks and piss is always on my mind. It's just, okay.
I love piss.
Yeah, of course.
I piss. I piss all the time.
Apparently, there's a shark. Its whole deal is it lives at temperatures that are too cold to sustain it, and it eats so rarely because it tries to live exclusively off of bears. And bears aren't a good diet for sharks, because if you notice, bears don't live in the water. But that's what it eats. It's a bear-eating shark. And so it had to evolve in such a way where instead of peeing, when it develops piss, it just holds it in its body almost forever. So it's over time, it just gets more and more concentrated urea that it pickles itself. So the Finnish and the other people that were able to eat the shark, this is not a cryptid. This is a fucking animal. So should be a cryptid. Yeah, cryptids aren't even that weird when reality is spitting out shit like this.
And it looks pickled.
Yeah,
it looks pickled or it tastes.
It basically is pickled, and if you don't ferment the fuck out of it when you go to eat its meat, you can get instantly drunk from eating its flesh because it's so soaked and pickled in its own piss. How delightful is that? It gets one step better, though. You know how it attracts little life forms for it to eat?
Why, Kyle?
There's these glow-in-the-dark biofluorescent parasites that it just lets live around its eyes. It doesn't do anything with it, and they will eat its eyes till it goes fully blind, but then it's where its eyes are glows due to the parasites, and that attracts little small things for it to eat when it's not trying to get bears off the shore. Isn't that awesome?
Candy the Cane had a good comment. Evolution why?
Yeah, I don't know. Speaking of evolution why, ADD backwards to...
Whoa, in this channel?
Platypuses.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's another cryptid. They were cryptids.
They should be.
Not only were they cryptids for a really long time, but when somebody finally sent a platypus corpse to one of the heads of biology in, I want to say like Stanford or something, in the late 1800s, the guy got it. And he wrote this big paper who was like, oh my god, it turns out platypuses are real, but like, maybe not. Like, I'm looking at it, and I'm interacting with it, and I can't find stitches where someone put this thing together. But if it gets proven that this was a fake, let it be known it's like the best fake ever. So this man who was literally examining the platypus is like, there's no way this thing I'm holding is real. There's no.
And it's like looking at its intestines, its working lungs.
And he's still like, no, this is a really good fake.
Its nervous system, and like who this has to, like who had this much time on their hands.
And to go back to evolution, why? Like a fool, he's got a shovel bill like a duck. Like of course
it's a mammal.
Of course it's a cryptid.
It's a cryptid.
Mammals don't have beaks.
I know.
Why the fuck does
and it's
it
a
have
mammal.
A beak? And it's poisonous, and it can sense electricity. It's got organs specifically designed to detect electrical currents.
I think it was a cursed human.
It sweats milk. It lays eggs.
Has anybody tasted
that leather? Oh, you know, some 1800s British guy did. You know it.
Let's put a platypus on a. Just make it. Let's just work it out. I just want to know.
Yeah. You just want to taste.
Yeah,
you just want to taste the milk.
Yeah, live stream. Who wants to see me drink platypus sweat milk? Comment below.
Fuck. That's the kind. You got to be a fucked up kind of rich where you're like, I live exclusively on a diet of platypus milk.
and what's the name of the bird where they fry it whole and it's endangered and you cover your head because you don't want God to see it?
Yeah.
I want to try it.
I know. I just the concept of a meal that you have to hide from God is that's really. Like, it's also like quasi illegal now, but
how good is it?
Apparently very, but it doesn't. Yeah.
I mean, I've had foie gras, and I felt bad.
Yeah, foie gras is one of those things. Yeah. Or even just like veal. Like, it's just the fact that
I can't have veal. I feel bad. Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
Okay. So, what? Okay.
Platypuses. were cryptid. They're not anymore.
Yeah.
It's great. Good for them. They're still cryptid in my heart and mind, just like giraffes. But to go back to skinwalkers specifically.
Yeah.
My favorite cryptids, and part of the reason I got really into cryptozoology when I was a kid, oh my god, ADD again. Holy shit.
Oh no. Can you hold on? Can you
no,
hold
I
on?
can't.
Okay, go. Release.
So I don't get embarrassed. You know that about me.
No, you don't.
You want to hear one of the only times I've ever been embarrassed? I was a little kid. It was fucking traumatizing.
Was it better than the story I told you on Saturday night?
No. It's not better than that. No, absolutely not.
I will never tell this story to anybody else, but Kyle heard me.
I thought you were just about to tell it. I was like, wow, you are bold.
I'm not telling that story.
No.
It took me 16 years of friendship
you need
to tell you.
very impressive subscriber and tip goal
I know.
to tell that story.
Yeah, I need it's very embarrassing.
Thousands
it's very stupid.
No, so this is not that stupid or that embarrassing, but it was mortifying. I was in 3rd grade, and teacher is going around the classroom, and we have to say our name and what job we want when we're adults.
Oh, okay.
And I stand up, and I'm like, "Hi, I'm Kyle Vaughn, and when I grow up, I want to be a cryptozoologist." And she was my teacher, who I still to this day hate. She was like, "What's a cryptozoologist?" And I was like, "Scientist who studies cryptids." And she's like, "What's a cryptid?" And I was like, "A cryptid is like Bigfoot's cousins." And she was like, and she already thought I was always fucking with her all the time. She didn't understand I was just very special.
That's adorable. Yeah, and how old were you?
I was 9.
Let me tell you something. If I taught, which I don't, and if I had kids in a class, which I don't, and I had an adorable little kid stand up, I'd be like, "Go you!"
Well, keep in mind,
fucking love it. Here's $5 to get started.
Keep in mind, when I was 9, I looked exactly like this.
With the beard.
I didn't have the beard.
With the beard and the hairy chest. Bigfoot's cousins.
It's true though.
Get a shirt that says Bigfoot cousin.
Bigfoot's cousin. See, I had a shirt idea as well.
Right on your tits.
Just like that, though.
Yeah.
When you were saying that, like, every state has their own Bigfoot,
yeah,
I just wanted, like, you know those maps that show, like, every state's...
Yeah.
Like, I just need to commission Rachel to, like, make a U.S. map with each state's
Rachel
Bigfoot.
is his girlfriend, by the way. Well, technically, fiancé.
Yeah, my fiancé of 6 years, so...
Well, how long have we been together? 12?
We've been together 12 years.
Yeah. Y'all are married. Y'all are married.
We've been engaged for 6.
Y'all are married.
6
She's so screwed. She has both of us.
I know.
And we love to harass. I love to harass her with my love.
Me too.
And she's like, okay. She's a very, very, very talented artist. I need to get something from her and hang it. That'd be a good corner right there. But I would actually love something from her. Anyways, go on.
Follow up immediately. When I was in 5th grade, I wound up in a very, very similar situation, and I was mortified. My heart was beating my chest because I knew if I said cryptozoologist, I was going to embarrass myself. So I wanted to say a normal job where I wouldn't embarrass myself. It got to me, and I was like, "Hi, my name is Kyle, and when I grow up, I want to be a parapsychologist." And the teacher was like, "What's a parapsychologist?" I was like, "Somebody who studies ghosts." And so, like, there was...
Because that's better.
Yeah, in my brain, I was like, ghosts are more known. Like, it's not as weird. I'm being a normal kid, me. I've never been good at that.
No, you were never meant to,
Humans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you've always been half in, half out. You've always been half in this world, half out of this world. And this isn't something where he lives in a fantasy world. This man has actually had... I've been there.
We've had some weird fucking experiences.
He's had some weird fucking experiences.
Sadly, never with a cryptid. That would be fun. But I've had some parasite...
What if the cryptid was you all along?
The cryptid was me.
The cryptid's inside of us.
The cryptid was the friends we made along the way. That's so sweet. So sweet.
Wait.
Oh, you're a son of a bitch. I wish I could repeat that. I wish I could repeat that.
I'm sorry, guys. I had to whisper to him something that we would not be saying live.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. It's pretty fun. It's about a specific person who knows if they'd ever watch this.
I know, we don't like, but...
Regardless, let's hop back to skinwalkers, because that's how this ADD works, right?
Yes.
So, skinwalkers and Wendigo or Wandango, depending on where you are.
I love Wendigo, which you need to play Until Dawn. Sorry, he needs to play Until Dawn. Who's played it? Raise your hand.
They're very very, very closely connected.
Yeah. Wait. Skinwalkers and Wendigos?
Yeah. They're not the same thing. They're very close to legend. Like their myths are literal. They're family. Yeah. Those myths are family. Okay. And actually, if you kind of look on a map of like which one is more
because my visualization of a Wendigo is my very different realization from a Skinwalker. But that's where
we'll talk about it. It'll connect a little bit better.
Yeah.
So different Native American tribes, specifically up in Canada.
Yeah.
Because Wendigo are usually associated with the cold, almost always. Some of them believe in Wendigo being something, I don't want to say like a Bigfoot, but I'm going to because we're talking about it. But they believe it being like a creature, a standalone creature that hunts and preys. Most of the Canadian tribes don't view it that way. They believe Wendigo is a spirit that possesses a person. The person becomes a Wendigo.
Well, I thought it was also like someone is a cannibal and they eat more human meat and they become a Wendigo.
Right. So
there's different.
So that second type,
theories.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It is exactly that, and that's where you get that kind of Skinwalker elements, though.
Yeah.
Of different myths, different historical events, kind of can hide how long a person can legitimately fit into the community while being possessed by a Wendigo and being a Wendigo active. And that's where it's like a Skinwalker.
Like in Dragon Ball Z, where Bulma was, like, taken over by one of Frieza's guys because he was a frog. He got turned into a frog and then he got possession of her. Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I've been rewatching Dragon Ball Kai.
Have you?
Oh, yeah. I finally got to the part where Goku went Super Saiyan for the first time. I was like, ugh.
Which also means you're about to be... Oh, actually, you already been in it. You've been in the longest fight of all time.
I know, it was the longest fight of all time, and I watch it. I actually skipped 2 episodes.
Canonically, it's
between the fight.
3 minutes, I think. Because Frieza says that Namek's going to blow up in this amount of time. I think he says 3 minutes. And then, like, 9 episodes later.
Well, and also, really, I just want to get to the Cell. Cell freaked me out as a kid, but I want to finish it.
The Cell saga was great.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to be funny about Dragon Ball because I wanted to bring up the fact that I'm rewatching Dragon Ball. Now, continue.
No, we're both talking here, and the ADD is part of it.
It is. We are very ADD.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's kind of our charm.
Yeah.
It's kind of our charm. I'm sure people who have seen me stream, I go off about 50 things.
Anybody who's ever
But then we connect and we're like, oh, go back to this. It's like we're psychic. We're
well, keep the tabs open.
It's funny how when people think alike, their conversations flow so effortlessly. When other people I'm talking to be like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you weren't on that same? You weren't going from here to here and connected? Like, what? Keep up.
Seriously. What's wrong with people? But, what I was going to say about Wendigo is they don't really count as a cryptid per se because they're so inherently tied to like myth and legend and the supernatural.
Yeah.
But the reason I wanted to bring them up when it comes to cryptids is because there has been a few historical accounts that are just so fun, so interesting, that it'd be a shame not to bring them up if we're talking specifically about American monsters, more or less. So I'm gonna tell you a thing about Swift Runner. Have you ever heard of Swift
I've never heard of Swift Runner. That's actually something I've never heard of. I'm very excited.
Okay, so Swift Runner...
I've heard of most things that we're talking about and know about.
So Swift Runner was a Native American dude in the very early 1900s who was up in Canada. Mm-hmm. And at the time...
Was he sponsored by Nike?
No. Great question. The Canadian government was basically letting the tribes at this time... actually, not the whole country, but in that region, was letting the tribes continue to remain sovereign. So they weren't actually fully applicable to Canadian law, which was actually fairly cool. Swift Runner lived in a place that was very, very troublesome. Not like law, but the environment was hard. The winters were hard. Crops didn't grow. It was a whole thing. And he apparently... Now, keep in mind, this is not like according to legend. This is, you can go read the court documents and shit. This is all, this happened. Swift Runner, apparently, this part is up for debate. Apparently, there was a particular winter where him and one other guy were out hunting and they got stuck in the ice for a long time. And just like all these stories start, he couldn't make it back to his home and his friend died. And in order to survive, he had to eat his flesh.
Which, no judgment. You got to do what you got to do. And when hunger hits, I mean...
No, if it's death or eat a friend that's already dead, I am absolutely carving off a chunk of Zach and digging in. There's no question.
We have a friend, Zach, and we love Zach.
Yeah, we love Zach.
He's the worst.
I would also... He's first to get eaten if I have to kill and eat a friend. There's no question.
His skin would be so soft.
So soft. And the meat would be well seasoned.
It would be.
And I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Casual cannibalism. Excellent. Yeah. But Swift Runner, apparently that happened.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Years later.
Yeah.
He was known as a very, like, amicable guy. He was likable. He was kind. Also, if any comments come up that I need to know, let me know. Because I can't...
No. He had a good point. Like, Liger's got a good point. And a Wendigo is a demonic spirit that curses people into more Wendigos. And when people are stuck and starving, they can be easily turned into a Wendigo. Meaning there are two different types of, like, different... They're not two different types. They're just different stories how Wendigos form.
Right.
That is the one I'm familiar with, Liger, is the cannibalism.
Well, so the cannibalism, even the one where it's like Wendigo's a stalking monster.
Yeah.
It's still a flesh eater.
Yeah.
So, like, ultimately...
it's so horrible to do that, it just turns your body into a monster.
Right. But, so Swift Runner was, one winter, he's living his life, and everyone in his community had always said good things about him, and that he was kind of, all the shit you hear about serial killers, right? Yeah. And, when the winter was over, he'd come into a Canadian town to get supplies. And when he did, he was alone, which isn't normally how it went. Normally, he had his children with him. Ooh. And so people were like, what's up? And he admits that during the winter, his son had died. And then during the harshness of, like, trying to deal with this, people lost the will to live. And then eventually, the rest of his family he was living with, they all starved to death during this incredibly harsh winter. That was his story.
I would have just thrown myself off a cliff.
So the Canadian authorities go to make sure that his story is straight. Yeah. So he leads them to where he was staying during the winter, way off in the mountains, and leads them to where his son is buried. And there's his remains, and they're not messed with. It's all good. And then, like, as they're perusing the campsite and going to leave, they find a human skull. And so a friend was like, yeah, that's my wife's skull. And they're like, I noticed that not only is it not buried, but her femurs and shit have been broken open and the marrow's gone. And he's like, all right, I'm going to tell you this, but you white people aren't going to get it. I got possessed by a Wendigo, and I killed and ate my whole family. And they're like...
I think it was just starvation.
And they're like,
that witch is out. Maybe a demonic spirit.
So he ended up going and getting tried and whatnot. And his only defense, like, the laws were as they are now. So, like, lawyers tried to get him to say anything else. But Swift Runner's whole testimony was like...
I did it.
It was me, and it was the Wendigo, and I'm sorry. But, like, that's what it is. Like, I lost that battle.
Do you think it's just, like, a psychotic episode that had a name, the Wendigo, where it's like you have... It's a way to just... Not blame it, but it's a way to somewhat vocalize something horrible has overtaken me. I couldn't fight it.
Yes, but less poetic almost. Like, less... Like, it just has a... No. Yeah, I think your concept is completely, completely correct. I just think it's kind of like why the only people who ever get demonically possessed are Catholics. Yeah. I think it's that same kind of concept of if you live in a culture in which this myth exists and you know it to be true, you know for a fact it's true. Mm-hmm. So let's say you're starving one winter and you've already had human flesh before in order to survive. You like literally did that a few winters back. Like
your body is no longer like this is a huge no-no. Your body's not.
And I think that when hunger goes, holy shit, my son just died of pneumonia. Why waste the meat? And everyone else thinks you're a fucking monster. I think it's really easy for your mind, not as an excuse, but in like the moment in the psychosis. I think it's really easy to go, oh, like I'm a good person. I wouldn't have a taste for flesh. Yeah, but the Wendigo would.
And it's like, you gotta almost, I think, for your mental sanity, blame it on something else, because otherwise you have to come to terms with the fact that you yourself made this decision, whether or not in a psychotic episode, your brain went, no, let's fuck this shit up. Yeah. But also, Dan had a good point. Isn't it cannibalism that turns you? Yeah. So is it like...
Well,
there you go. He cannibalized,
right.
And then he did have cannibalism. He ate his friend, and then a couple years later, he ate his family.
And that's actually why I like this story, is because those events are all 100% true. And if you lived in a world in which you believed that the Wendigo is real, it's perfect. He literally was forced to cannibalize to survive.
Yeah.
And then later was possessed by the Wendigo and murdered his entire family.
Like, he had to make a choice. Die or get potentially possessed. Yeah. Okay, but you know when the marrow was sucked out of the bones? Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, I know.
I'm a bone chewer.
Yeah, you are.
He has seen me.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrifying.
It's bad.
Watching Ashley eat a chicken dinner is like the second or third scariest thing that happens in Texas.
I remember I dated a guy one time. He's like, that's kind of hot. And I'm like, you're fucked up. I like that. Because it's fucked up. And one time, I went to the store and I got bones. Because I like bone marrow. I like to cook it and season it. And I was like, hey, what are your tips on cooking this? And he's like, well, ma'am, because I was in Georgia at the time. He's like, well, ma'am, to be honest, most people buy these for their dogs. And I was like, well, call me a bitch, because I love them. And he's like, I'd rather not. And I'm like, damn it, I'm in Georgia. They're so nice here. but still, like, I love a bone. I do. Instead of butter from now on, I think I'm just going to have bone marrow. Anyways.
Bone marrow is delicious.
Yeah, so Ashley likes this shit. Okay. What? I'm not your queen anymore because I like bone marrow? God, look, okay, to be fair, women need a lot of iron. That's my excuse.
That's a good excuse.
My excuse.
Yeah.
Like, we need a lot of iron.
Let's blame it on the iron and not the fact that you're a Wendigo. That's keep things much easier.
Oh my god, I'm a great Wendigo.
You are.
I haven't eaten any of my friends.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
And a lot of y'all are delicious.
But it's a matter of time. Only a matter of time.
I don't think I could do it. Although I don't think I'd like to think I couldn't do it. I'd like to think in a situation where I'm starving, I couldn't do it.
Okay.
But I don't know.
But what if a friend was really inviting? Like, what if they were, like, on their back in, like, a onesie, and they're
What if they were, like, cooking in the sun, like, ooh, ooh, crispy skin, I'm about to die.
Looney Tunes style, just dressed up as a big ham hock.
And I'm just like, oh, fuck, I gotta eat.
Yeah, you just gotta... Do you remember, did you ever meet Mike the Mikey Mikester?
Yeah, I know Mike the Mikey Mikester.
Me and him, years ago, also, this is fucked up, I don't know why I'm telling the internet this. Yeah, I suppose, years and years and years ago, me and him really liked morbid shit in the macabre. And we agreed. We shook on it. We spit in our hands. We shook on it. That whichever one of us died first, the other one got to eat a little bit of.
Oh well, I mean, we can stage an accident.
No, I don't want to. I'm not murdering anybody. I just love that when we did it, we were totally serious. It's only as an adult. I'm like, that's kind of.
Would you actually do that? If he died,
probably,
and he was like, look,
if it was like laid out in his will, he's like, chop off one finger, it belongs to Kyle Vaughn.
No, not a finger. You want something meaty. Get it.
It's gotta be butt cheek in some way.
No, get something with bone.
According to cannibal serial killers, the butt cheek is the best cut of human.
Okay, I mean, have you seen Mothman?
Yeah, that's right.
So, anyways. We are not Wendigos. Hopefully, we would not eat. But yes, what happens is cannibalism begets a Wendigo.
Yeah.
And then it can turn into more cannibalism.
Yeah.
And the thing is, what's sad is can you imagine being in that situation? And the thing is, what happened was his psyche was probably like, we've already done this once, let's do it again. And you're fucking starving.
Yeah.
And
that's actually one of the things about the story also that I find really fun and interesting, though, is that the shape he was in when he like walked into town he was well fed.
Oh, he was fat?
He was very muscular, and it was very well upkept, and he was there was no lack of calories in that.
I just thought of a fucking, like, you want to get in shape without taking steroids or supplements? Eat a human being. Human beings for sale.
When Rachel and I were using MyFitnessPal, I don't remember how I found it, but they have a specific entry for human flesh.
No way.
Yeah, no joke.
Do you think it's for other cultures?
I have no fucking idea.
I don't know what culture that's actually acceptable.
No, there's
acceptable.
There's not very many left, but there's a few cultures that still do ceremonial cannibalism in funerals.
Do you think it was an intern who was just fucking around?
Oh, almost certainly. But I remember when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's so convenient. I'm going to remember that for later.
I really want bone marrow now.
I just want some human flesh. Is that so wrong?
Eat a person and gain their powers. That is what some people actually believe in certain cultures. Like, if I eat you, there are some people who think, like, shake my hand, right? I am getting your energy. Yes. That was also in an episode of Sailor Moon where Serena first met Amy and she was really smart and she was, like, trying to get, like, her energy and be like, oh my god, she's really smart. I remember that. But anyways.
Did you ever emulate it afterwards?
Girl, I have shaken hands with so many great people and I still ain't shit.
Dang.
I mean, I'm great, but like, I'm not.
You didn't pick up there.
You know what?
Right?
I gotta shake Hideo Kojima's hand. But he's crazy.
He's crazy.
He's crazy. I love him though.
No, me too.
But he needs to be managed a little bit.
Yeah, I love it though.
I know.
Or just like the mastermind behind Kingdom Hearts. That guy needs someone needs to tell him no sometimes.
Here's the thing, it's poor Nomura. Anything good that happens Nomura, if anything bad happens to Nomura, and I'm like, I'm sure there's a team of writers. But they're all like fucking.
I don't know. As a DM, that whole story's got the stink of one man's creativity on it. It doesn't feel like a team. That feels like one person rambling. I love it.
I'm like, I love you, Nomura, but I just take a back seat. Let's see. Someone is saying that's why a lot of people are going to share the gospel overseas were eaten by cannibals. They thought they could get. Yeah,
that's my favorite. There's also that guy. The missionary who died just a few years ago.
Also, no offense, you were kind of asking for it.
Yeah,
you were arrogant enough to go to another place that is you have no idea about. You don't know the culture. You don't know the people. You don't know their habits. You don't know whether they're good or bad. And you just thought you could fucking change them with your fucking suburban ways.
I think it was 2016. You hear about the missionary that happened to very, very recently?
He was killed or eaten.
So there's one island.
I don't want that to happen to people. But you have to be a very arrogant person to do that.
This guy was a fucking dick.
Good. No, I'm fine.
There's one island left on Earth that has a culture that is still completely untouched. And it's like deliberate. Like
Which part?
I don't remember.
It's easy. It's
really easy to look up. I don't remember right now.
I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, feel free. Yeah, we have one picture of the people taken from a helicopter, and like they threw spears and shit at the helicopter.
Yeah.
And on purpose, like we as a world, we've decided to just let them.
Sentinelese?
I suppose.
Maybe, or North Sentinel Island.
Yeah, North Sentinel Island.
Well, I'm sure, but I think I know what story. I love this story. I don't love it, but it's a good tale to
there was this asshole guy who was like, I'm going to go be a missionary and save all these people who've never been exposed to modern convenience from their sins with the power of
that just
Christ.
Me. I just want to do that.
I
don't know this person.
He literally went to this island and like his last few tweets were just like, yeah, the shield of Christ will protect me. I'm going to save these. And then, that's that.
No offense. Be religious all you want, but I don't think Jesus is going to pop up and deflect arrows. I'm like, look, it's called allegory.
Also, don't be an asshole and just default assume that your culture and your beliefs are better than theirs.
Dan just said this. He's like, you say that, but my wife would approach a wild animal wanting to be its best friend. There's a difference between an animal and an uncontacted human tribe. Yeah. And tell Jordan not to do that. Tell him not to do that.
She will.
We know Dangling Plums in real life. We know his wife. I adore her.
Yeah.
Poor thing. I'm so obsessed with her. Don't tell her that, Dan. But there could always be room for me in that movie. It's just me and Jordan. I
do have one more window.
That does sound like Jordan.
It does. Why?
Don't tell her not to do that. Because one time I almost got attacked by a raccoon. And here's the thing: I like animals from afar, but if an animal attacks me, I'm kicking it down the stairs. I'm not going to be its friend. Yeah. I'm like, you have rabies. I'm done. Like, I don't want aquaphobia.
Yeah.
Like, that's so sorry. One more.
No, I understand.
I'm kind to an extent.
Rachel and I, we were walking the other night, and it was like real late. I don't know why we were doing it. We were walking one of those big Katy green belts, and all the lights are off, and it was dark, and we saw something I thought was a cat, and I was like, okay, cats will move away from us, and as we were walking, it kept galloping away. But then as we got closer and closer, it still was leaving us, but I could tell it was a lot bigger than a cat, and I was like, and it was just dark enough where I was like, I have really good night vision. I was like straining my eyes, and then I realized it was like really shaggy, and it wasn't huge or anything, but it clearly wasn't a raccoon, and it wasn't a cat, and so then I was like, oh, it's like a lost dog or something. Like I want to help him if I do. So I started trying to get like close to it, and then Rachel, there was that moment of like, it was always in like lockstep with us moving away, and there was just this moment of like, oh, what if it's like something weird? What if we can't see this thing and Kyle's trying to fucking grab it? And she's like, don't Don't get it. Leave it alone. What? And she, no joke, how it ties in this episode. She's like, what if it's like some weird cryptid you don't know about? Just leave it be.
What if it's just a little haunting? Yeah, what if it's just a weird animal just trying to find its way back to its own universe? Yeah. Here's another thought I had. Yeah. Alternate universes. Do you think some things maybe have come in from another ultra through a slip in time?
I brought up Thinnies last time.
No way!
But only for a second.
We're on the same...
Yeah, so Thinnies are one of my favorite things ever. The term was coined by Stephen King, but now it's used in certain paranormal circles. And it's the whole concept of certain regions on a map, just certain locations where the veil is thinner. And people, usually time is the thing in the thinny, but occasionally people will believe it's alternate universes or whatever. Mm-hmm. And one of the most common things that will happen is people will see old combat, or they'll see a culture that they didn't know existed in that area just for a second, and then it's gone suddenly. And
it's a slip of something.
Right. So a lot of people view these as ghost stories, but people who believe in thinnies are like, no, like it's just for a moment that veil was lifted. Like you guys both existed in the same spot for 1 second. And they saw you the same way you saw them.
Have you read Outlander? It kind of
no, but I know Outlander.
It's actually a very good series. I really enjoy it. Yes, it's romantic.
I watched season 1 of the show.
Oh my god, Jamie. But I love the context of slips in time and portals in time.
Me too.
And it's there. She uses like stones, like certain stones, like rubies and stuff, like something to do. I just love the faux science of it. Yeah. And I'm like, well, I mean, if there is thinnies, how do you spell that?
Like thin east. Yeah, it's just THINNYS.
And to me, it's kind of like, okay, well, there's some kind of basis in that where it's, I just like the idea of they see you, you see them, and it's like, okay, bye.
Well, and sometimes some of the best stories that surround them involve the other people, like the people who would be scaring you because it's weird and they're from there. Like they'll literally be like, "What the fuck are this?"
I mean, think about it. If there's an alternate universe, and it's like a not a bipedal universe, who knows? And all of a sudden, there's this two-legged fucking thing, and it's fucking weird.
That's fun. Ugh. I kind of love it. I really do. But I'm going to tell...
I want these things to happen to me.
My second Wendigo story, because I have to.
Do it.
So this is about Jack and Joseph Fiddler. Have you ever heard these names?
It sounds like a fairy tale.
Okay.
Well, Jack and Joseph.
This is another one that is just like the Swift Runner. This is another historically real thing you can go read about.
Yeah.
That I love. It also deals with the Wendigo. Mm-hmm. So Jack and Joseph, that was their like names they used when talking with Americans.
Yeah.
They actually had real names, but they're
where are they from?
Very long, very multi-syllabic. They're Native American, both of them, and they were very well-respected shamans.
So they were Native American with Slavic names.
No, not Slavic. I said long.
Okay, sorry. I thought you said Slavic.
Multi-syllabic.
Multi-syllabic. I thought you said multi-Slavic, and I was like...
No, multi-syllabic.
What?
Their names were very, very, very hard for Kyle to pronounce, so I'm not going to try. But they introduced themselves to Americans as Jack and Joseph Fiddler. And they, in their own communities, they were incredibly respected shamans. And this is at a time, yet again, we're back in the early 1900s. Mm-hmm. This is at a time where the communities that were on the northern U.S. and southern Canada still were really in touch with their spirituality and completely believed in Wendigo. And Jack Fiddler specifically developed a reputation throughout his life as being a very powerful shaman. There were a lot of accounts of him actively spellcasting in front of people, summoning animals, all kinds of weird
pay so much money
shit. And according to actually his what remains of his tribe today, still kind of talks about him as like one of the last people in their community to possess the arts. That it got lost with him and his son. But Jack, as a very wise and respected community member, it wasn't like he was just some charlatan. Like as a Westerner and just as a fucking modern day American, we really want to just immediately assume he was like a con man. But like the story I'm about to tell, he's 89 when it happens. And if he was a con man, he kept the Strahd up for 90 years. It's very impressive. But he developed a reputation as a Wendigo hunter.
Yeah.
Straight up. And this is a community.
This needs to be a video game. Sorry. Like I'm gonna call Norm right now. Norm.
This is the new Oddworld game.
Wendigo hunter, stranger style.
the thing with his community is their tales of the Wendigo were a little bit more in the middle of the two kind of spectrums I said. Mm-hmm. So they believed that cannibalism made you a Wendigo. Mm-hmm. But there was a point in which it wasn't like Swift Runner. You weren't just a possessed by demonic entity that made you want to eat flesh. Like, you would become a hulking monster is what they believed. So like they believed there was
like steroids.
No, they were shaggy. They were hair and they had horns.
Okay.
They believed that there was wild Wendigo out in the woods and shit, and like these entities were like flesh and blood, but they used to be human. Cannibalism made them into Wendigo, and this is the Bigfoot side of Wendigo, right? Well, he was called throughout his life to kill 14 Wendigo. And each one he had to kill in different ways, and he had developed, and he taught other shamans how to protect your own communities from Wendigo, and from other various supernatural threats.
Magnificent Seven starring shamans.
Yes, hell yeah.
Seven samurai.
It's kind of fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea.
But his brother, Joseph, was not as respected per se, but he wasn't like a man of ill repute or anything. He was a good guy. And Joseph and him... when a case was really bad, they'd both be called out to it, and they would deal. And every once in a while, sometime, if a person knew they were becoming a Wendigo, they would call them to be like, you need to put me down before it's done. Which is just wild to think, but, to them, especially at this time, it was just real. There was no...
There was no psych evaluation.
No,
there was no
they knew for a fact that's what it was. They were being possessed by the spirit. They were going to turn to a monster, and they were going to kill their families and harm their communities. So, but the thing with Jack is he was a smart guy, very smart guy, very charming guy, and he had a really good relationship, not just with his own tribespeople, but also with the white communities that were set up.
Yeah,
and people respected him in that way. And when he was 89 years old, he got the call, and it had been a long time. According to he thought Wendigo, like the whole demonic spirit, he thought that they were extinct or they weren't attacking people anymore.
Yeah.
But him and his brother got the call that this woman had been possessed. I think it was a lady. And that they needed to step in because she was already starting to show not just the signs of flesh, but also of enhanced strength. And so Jack and Joseph, they go and they do what they got to do, and then they kill her, and they feel really bad about it, and they burn the body, which is something that they always did, and the community and their family is grateful, incredibly grateful. There's no doubt they knew for a fact she was a Wendigo. So, of course, explaining that to the Canadian government and the American government is really difficult. So this trial is really very interesting because unlike the Swift Runner trial, Jack and Joseph, their whole status was like, we don't have any proof that this shit is real, but I have fought monsters. I have seen them. I know they're real. I have 80 years of experience dealing with these bastards. And hell, part of the reason they don't attack any people anymore is because of us. And there's no way we're going to be able to convince you that this is true.
And it's so funny how various tribes will have these experiences, and this is why I can understand why various Native American tribes want to keep it to themselves. Like, we can't explain this. This may be something to do with our culture.
Yeah.
And then again, we come in with our science and our facts saying, no, you're killing human people with issues. Mm-hmm. And which ultimately is a good thing, assuming that the shit's not real.
But in the grand scheme of things, it's a good thing. You want to, you don't want to go step on a culture and say what you're doing is wrong, but when active evils are being perpetuated against people because of really outdated or thoughts that ultimately just point at the mentally ill and go, demon! Like, it's good that gets kind of stepped in and stopped. That being said, the part of you that goes, what if, how fun, how interesting, I can imagine how frustrating it would be to be Jack Fiddler and know that you've saved your community.
And you've seen it. And you've experienced it, smelled it, killed it.
And now you're going to be tried as a murderer when you know that you're a hero. What an interesting... I almost want to watch a movie about it.
It also brings up the idea of, how much are we allowed to meddle in other people's cultures? Mm-hmm. like, it does get to a point where, you know, you have Chinese medicine and they have shark fin soup that helps with this, but it's also horrible to sharks.
Yeah.
So when do you, like, how do we navigate those really weird lines of, okay, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, this is stupid. This is make-believe. You just need to feel important about stuff, and to its point where it's like, maybe there's some things we don't know and we're not privy to because we don't have that kind of insight.
And I always like to play off the assumption that we don't know shit, man. Like, as a whole, we don't.
It's true. Magic is things you don't understand.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, always has been. Always will be.
There may be things that we just don't have connection to, and it takes a spiritual type of vision to see. I don't know.
No, yeah.
But, I mean, I'm white bread.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if I brought up 23andMe, it's just mostly Wales, English, Scottish, French, and Cajun. You know, that's it. And you actually...
Scotch-Irish tractor!
Woo! And, sharks are horrible to us when they eat us, so tooth for a tooth.
Unless it's a piss shark.
So Dangley Plums, Kyle has not played Until Dawn. So for people who don't want spoilers, just close your ears. But Until Dawn, I think, is actually a very interesting take on Wendigos. He kind of knows, like, there are Wendigos in it.
That's the only thing I know about.
Yeah, but I think it is a good take. I would have to actually see an opinion from people who actually in Wendigos are part of their belief or their mythology. And I feel like that would be a better question for people from that culture.
Yeah.
But a lot of those cultures, like, we're not talking about it. That's not your fucking business.
Yeah.
White bitch. And I'm like, I get it.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, look up the honey. I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to look up some stuff that someone mentioned.
Please. So the one thing with Jack and Joseph Fiddler, though, the end of the trial is kind of depressing. Ultimately, the tribal nations do a really good job of defending Joseph. But Jack is like, I'm old and I don't want to die a murderer. I'm going to die on my own terms. So Jack Fiddler ended up hanging himself, but he hung himself believing that he was a hero. And his legacy still is as of a hero. But this is the case that caused the Canadian government to stop letting the tribes act autonomously.
Yeah.
Because they were like, your guys' beliefs are causing some real fucking problems. You're murdering people. And the Native Americans were like, you're always going to believe that, so... Fuck, I guess we'll just get persecuted by Canadians now. And they did, and that became what happened to it. But I love these two tales specifically, Swift Runner and Jack Fiddler, because it just shows that these myths that surround these unknown creatures and unknown entities, they're not myths to everybody. Like, to certain people, they are absolute facts. Like, last episode, we were talking about Ghost, and, for me... I don't believe in a whole lot of supernatural paranormal stuff, but I know for a fact ghosts are real because of my own personal experiences and a great number of them. And to these people, there was never any doubt. It wasn't a maybe. It wasn't something spooky that happened to maybe.
This is something they saw.
To them it was fact. And
quick question: does rabies give you super strength?
No, but it does up your adrenaline.
Is there a type of infection from an animal?
Rabies would be the best.
Yeah, that is a thought.
No, for sure.
I mean, rabies can't transform you into a monster. They can't physically transform you.
No,
but I can understand because you will go mad.
Yeah.
You will froth at the mouth.
You get weird.
You get weird. And also at that moment when they didn't have vaccines, the best thing to do was to kill them.
Oh, yeah,
because
absolutely.
then it spreads to other people. So then you also have that where it's like in our culture, we don't have a way to deal with this or cure this. We have to kill them. Are you still a murderer by putting someone out of their misery before it spreads to others? Because I think rabies, it's like...
Good thought.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, well, this thing is real to them, and here's a point, but they could have also been infected by something where they had no fucking chance for. Even now, rabies is a fucking toss-up.
Yeah, rabies.
You won't drink water. That terrifies me.
Yeah.
That is the scariest thing I learned, aquaphobia.
Also, what the fuck, Earth? A thing that makes you scared of water as one of its symptoms? That's so fucking weird.
I know.
I hate it.
Oh, by the way, this is my favorite thing. Someone told me about the Honey Island swamp monster.
Yeah.
The Cajun Sasquatch.
Yeah, Cajun Sasquatch.
And I'm like, everybody has a Bigfoot or a Sasquatch, and I love it.
Yeah, no, that's one of my favorites. That's also in the Big Thicket.
So even if people want to be like, you don't know our culture, you don't know this, it could have actual... long-term effects from viruses, from poisonings, and these people were not only shamans, and shamans are supposed to heal, but shamans are also supposed to cure. Man, you gotta go.
Yeah.
And if you don't have medicine, you gotta kill someone.
Yeah, then you literally do what you have to do
to save
and it's not
people.
it's not evil, it's not wrong. You're doing what's best for the
community. Like, these people have gone mad.
Yeah.
Like, rabies is one of the scariest things to me.
Oh, yeah.
Ever since that Scrub episode.
Also,
did you watch Scrubs?
Yeah, I love
this
Scrubs.
episode where he got organs from a rabies patient he didn't know, and he gave it to 3 people, and he killed 3 more people. Yeah, it was really tough.
I love that.
I know.
What's the lady? What's the female lead in Scrubs? I forgot her name right now.
Oh, the blonde one?
Yeah.
Well, her name's Elliot. The character, but not the actress.
Yeah. She was original founding member of Lonely Island, which is so fucking strange.
Oh, and also there's also dogmen, which are basically like Cajun werewolves.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're like, we're gonna eat the shrimp and then the people.
Okay, this isn't necessarily cryptid because there's never been anybody who believes in it in a non-mythological way, but bro, the number of were creatures is awesome. You got werewolves, you got were-gators, you got were-tigers, you got were-sharks, and this isn't like...
Have you watched True Blood?
D&D monster? No.
It's so hokey and good.
Yeah, I do.
Were-panthers.
Yeah.
Were-cougars.
And there are all these different cultures.
Werewolves.
Were-gators was a real thing in early Louisiana, though. There was a real fear
Why would anybody want to be a gator?
Were-gators.
I guess if I want to eat a deer whole.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that sounds fun. Lays about in the water.
But Dan just had a good question. Isn't rabies like the closest thing to zombies we have?
Oh,
and I'm like,
absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's among the idea of various diseases that can do that.
If we ever biological warfare ourselves into a zombie scenario, it will be with some modified rabies thing.
Yeah. Don't listen, enemies of humankind.
So, this is not... I bought cryptids at all, but I have to... Do you know what prions are?
No. Not at all.
So you got, like, germs, right? Yay, germs.
Love it.
You got viruses.
Love it.
Then you've got prions.
Sounds cool. Sounds like something from a Stephen King book.
The only disease that exists that is thought to be caused by prions, and even then it's up to debate because it is a virus, but the things that carry it may be prions, is mad cow disease. And mad cow disease is basically cow rabies, more or less. One of my favorite bizarre things about humans is and check this out, this ties to Wendigo. In humans, actually in any animal, this is how mad cow disease happened. If you supplant enough of your diet with flesh from the same species, if you perform enough cannibalism, then we don't know this. We still haven't quite figured it out. Prions will develop in your brain, and the thing is, they're just like viruses. They're literally little.
And these are scientifically acknowledged?
Yeah, prions are a real thing. We don't really get them yet. We also don't understand there's a whole concept called superviruses, which are just viruses that instead of being a weird little thing, they're huge. They're incredibly huge. Like under a microscope, they're way too big.
Yeah.
Prions and these superviruses are like we don't know where they come from. We don't know how they spread.
Yeah.
But I love that cannibalism causes the development of prions because man.
Now, what does it do specially? Like, what does it do?
So the prions themselves just act like viruses. They may carry a particular thing that once its whole goal is self-replicate, and it will fuck up your body in the process. Mm-hmm. For mad cow disease, it's literally cow eats cow meat, and then suddenly starts acting like it has rabies. But the thing is the previous cow doesn't necessarily have had to have anything. It's just the act of eating the flesh that does it.
I love how that is a universal rule. Like, do not eat your own
don't do cannibalism, yeah.
That is so funny how the world and genetics and evolution is like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And if you do this, you're fucking dumb.
Yeah, if you're going to trick me into believing in a god, that's on the list of things you got to do is like, man, reality having a built-in anti-cannibalism rule... That's pretty cool.
What if you could encounter a cryptid?
Yo.
Which one would you want? And y'all too.
Okay.
I want to hear this from y'all. Oh, what's this? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Part Welsh is awesome. His name is Adam. He works at we used to work at EA.
Adam.
Hey, thank you guys. We are doing a live stream. We talk about everything weird, paranormal. Today we're talking about cryptids. Hey baby, give me a kiss. I love you. Everybody, we got a raid. Hey, Nancy. Hey, Monkey Face is here. Oh, my gosh. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Eon DT. Hi, Soupy. Hi, Nancy. But anyways, hey, what's going on?
Also, so much dancing over there.
I know. Okay, so you guys came in at a really great time. If you could run into a cryptid, which one?
Well, see, my obvious immediate answer is fucking Mothman, because Mothman's the only cryptid I want to fuck. But past Mothman, It gets a little trickier. I gotta give it to the Kangamate.
Now, tell me about that.
It's just a big pteranodon. It's just straight up flying across the sky, being an X-Men villain, and I love him. I just think the concept of, like, you're driving in your car and you're like, is that a fucking pterodactyl? What the fuck? That just sounds... that's too good.
I'm trying to think of which one I would run into, because when I think of something I want to run into, it's mostly mythological creature, like a unicorn. Like, I'd die to see a unicorn. It'd probably stab me, but I'd be like, oh, that's a great way to go. But I think I love...
Also, unicorns only present themselves to virgins.
Wait, hold on. Flatwoods Monster. Ooh, okay. Okay, let's see. Steak is better than human flesh. It is known. We agree.
Nancy,
we agree.
We absolutely agree.
Because if you eat human flesh, you will become a Wendigo and go crazy.
Also, you're fucked up if you're eating human flesh. Don't do that.
Guys, don't do that, because you turn into
a
Wendigo.
But if you do, you got MyFitnessPal to log it.
I think because I like being scared. I want to meet a skinwalker. I just want to see one in the distance. And I also love stories of, like, if you hear a noise behind you, don't look if you're in the woods and stuff. But but like I said, there's only so much information on them because the culture doesn't want to release too much. But because I like the idea of being utterly terrified.
Yeah, me too.
And I feel like once in a while you gotta be terrified to appreciate life. Sometimes life gets a little too easy,
absolutely.
you know? Like, what sauce pairs well with human flesh, hypothetically? Honey mustard?
I'm going to go...
Laugan Ma?
Human flesh is described as being on the bitter spectrum and sweet. So I'm going to go with, like, a Dr. Pepper-based barbecue sauce.
Oh, is that real?
Dr. Pepper-based barbecue sauce, yeah.
Okay, so there's that. Whoa. Barbecue, there you go. Something would go with pork, very good. But I just love the idea of running into something is so wrong with it, so off. And I like the idea of, like, a wolf standing up like a human.
Oh, yeah.
And because there are various,
even just American cryptids, that's like the whole thing.
Yeah, because, like, okay, to me, Bigfoot, I'd be like, yeah, and I want to meet Bessie, because Bessie sounds adorable.
Bigfoot fucking stinks. Like, actually. All tales of Bigfoot say fucking smells like a skunk.
I just had the worst thought, and I'm not going to say it live.
Okay,
I'm not going to say it live.
That's probably good.
I'm not.
It's probably
because it's horrible. I have too many. The Yeti or the Chupacabra, see us which vary. The Nigel Farage.
So Chupacabra, we mentioned this earlier.
Beast of Bodmin, or Black Shuck. Okay, but go on.
Oh, Black Shuck's a good one. Not necessarily a cryptid, but we're going to count it because I love.
And we'll talk about it in a bit.
Yeah, no joke. You who wanted to see the Chupacabra, I brought this up earlier, but I have a friend who swears to God he will die on the hill that he has seen the Chupacabra and he will not let it go. He won't drop it. We call him. His name is Choopy. That's what we call him because his relationship with the Chupacabra is apparently very intimate. But okay, not intimate that way. It's a big part of who he is.
I was like, consent for cryptids.
Yeah.
Oh my God, consent for cryptids.
That's a good t-shirt.
Cryptids consent.
Yeah. Consent for Cryptids is a great t-shirt. I'm a big fan of that. And then you have Mothman, like, covering his juicy ass.
He's like, no, stop it. Ooh, have y'all seen that Mothman
He's got the
statue?
little anime pink cheeks,
like,
the legs. Yeah.
Ooh, my booty, don't eat it. Ooh.
But Mothman, how? Look at it. I want it.
Now, what is the Black Shuck?
So Black Shuck isn't a cryptid per se. It's more of a ghost story, but the creature is a dog. So it falls in that category of, like...
Like the Grimm?
Yeah. Well, the Grimm is based off of Black Shuck.
Okay, there you
go. So Black Shuck, for whatever reason, in America, our relationship with it exists almost solely through truckers. It originally started in Great Britain and in just Europe as a whole, but it is a big, hellish black hound that seeing it always spells doom. There's some accounts of old churches in Europe that saw it in like 14 and 1500s, and when they saw it, it wasn't like, oh, then some people died a few weeks ago. It was like, and the Black Shuck came into the church, murdered everyone, burnt down the fucking church.
Oh, so it actually attacked people.
Yeah.
Was it a big dog?
It's a big fucking black hellish dog.
Now, we're not spreading the message that black animals are evil, black cats are adorable, black dogs are great. This is just a huge wolf-like, supposedly thing.
The thing with Black Shuck is over time, because it's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old, so over time, its myth has evolved a lot. And for whatever reason, in America, the only group that ever sees Black Shuck is truckers.
Do you think that's because of sleep deprivation?
Probably. But it's
not fun.
But what makes it so weird is that it's... And I just kind of enjoy it. Is the fact that the thing that they describe, it's just a big black dog.
Yeah.
But all of them, there's always this this element of like, I couldn't fucking tell you what breed it is. And it's like the goddamn size of a bear.
Yeah.
Like it's when you see it, you know it's wrong. You're not just.
What if it's just a bear that got into cocaine?
Poor cocaine bear.
Cocaine bear.
Poor cocaine.
What if it's just cocaine bear? Yeah. You see, I could fix him. I could fix cocaine bear. I could fix him. I could fix the Chupa. I could fix them.
Sadly, he is dead now. So
Cocaine Bear. I mean, we can always make another Cocaine Bear.
Pablo Escobar.
I love the quote of that was probably the most dangerous apex predator of that time.
Oh, absolutely.
Like in those 5 minutes or 10, whenever.
I love that. No, it's absolutely a fact. But yeah, Black Shuck.
See, Jordan would say that. Damn.
See, yeah.
We have a friend, who has a wife, and he's on here. And she loves things. She loves animals. But it was Sirius Black the whole time. Have you read Harry Potter, right?
Well, yeah, but like the way they even talk about Sirius Black, it's still just repeating Black Shuck legends.
Yes.
It's the same concept. If you see the big black dog, it's the omen of death. And over time, it's become much less. Black Shuck will fuck your shit up. Yeah. And it's become more...
Omen of death.
He's an omen of death. And for truckers who see him, it's generally... They will see him right before disaster strikes. And a lot of truckers describe it as, like, had I not seen Black Shuck, I would have died.
Yeah. So because they were kind of aware?
Right.
They're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Okay. Or alternatively, there's a lot of truckers who would be like, I would not have gone flying off the road if it wasn't for Black Shuck.
So maybe in a way, he's a warning kind of figure where he's like, he's not the one that brings the pain. Yeah. He brings the disaster. He's the one that warns it. Like, look, I can't fix this. I'm just going to give you a heads up. Don't, you go there, have fun. But don't go there.
Also, you know the band The Darkness?
Yes. I believe in a thing called love.
Yeah, that's correct. They have a song about Black Shuck, and the chorus is as follows.
That's a great band name, Black Shuck.
Black Shuck, that dog don't give a fuck. That's the chorus of the song.
I feel like that's something Zach would sing.
Yeah, absolutely. Black Shuck.
That's actually a great Twitch name, Black Shuck.
Yeah.
Why didn't we think of that?
Because we're dumb.
Okay,
you know that.
We do have a Twitch channel coming, and we hope I don't have a link to it, but it is going to be Ghost House Media, so HAUSE, Ghost House. But we're not going to talk about just it scared me. Thank you.
Thank you for following.
Thank you so much for following. Hold on, I have it here. Eonity. I hope I'm saying that right, sweetie. I'm so sorry if I'm fucking it up.
Also, C-Switch, I totally agree. He's a protector. He's a big black dog. Black dog, good boy.
I actually prefer the. I like black animals. I think they're precious. I think they're very sweet because they have bigger eyes. They're just like, to me, they look like little seals.
My black cat was my first animal I ever really bonded with.
I know, and it's really sad how kind of a PSA. Halloween, black cats get killed a lot, and black animals they're less adopted. So we're not saying if you see a black dog, it's bad luck. Now, if you see a hulking, hellish hound
whose eyes don't reflect our reality,
then maybe
it's a bad sign.
And it's like go cuddle a black dog today. He's a protective good boy. That's right. He is, and that's what I like to think is Black Shuck. Maybe what it's turned into, and I like the idea of it just being a good boy. Just saying, hey, there's crap over there, and I can't do anything. So just watch it. Yeah, Queen. Just like be careful. Just like a flamboyant, like, stop it! I love the idea of a flamboyant cryptid. Like, oopsie, gonna spook you.
In my own headcanon, that's exactly what my beautiful Mothman is. And how else am I going to get to lay this creature if he's not a beautiful flamboyant
Will Rachel
Mothman?
watch?
No.
Will she want it?
She wants Mothman worse than I do, somehow. But I'm banking on my personality winning.
I can't think of one. Maybe Mothman, but like to me, I'm a little bit shy. I gotta be attracted to them in the face and the body. Yeah. So I'm like, okay.
Mothman's eyes are like 8 inches in
diameter. Like I don't want it to be an insect face.
He has giant red orbs and no neck.
Well, I do like looking at myself. Will I be reflected in them?
Oh, maybe not. They glow, so maybe not. Maybe not.
Hey, good girl, Jen. Hey, baby, how you doing? And One Kill Quota had a good point. Maybe give the big black dog ear scritches. Aww. Wouldn't it be funny if that's how we evaded danger?
Yeah.
You see, Dan, that's what Jordan would do. She would go after the big hellish hound and be baby.
Also, any of you who are watching who are creative and like to make things, please make just a show or a YouTube thing about somebody befriending Black Shuck and going on hellish adventures with him.
That's what we should
Because
do.
that's so cute, and I would love it.
I kind of feel like it's just a spirit that has been gifted this responsibility. He's like, I guess.
So if you track the legend all the way back, all the way back to just, we're literally talking like 1300s here.
Yeah.
The story is actually not too different than the Jersey Devil. There's some ties to like. There was an original origin. People who talk about Black Shuck these days aren't really talking about that version of him.
Yeah.
But
it's just a gram. It's just an ominous potent. Yeah. Ominous portent. Is that it? Portent?
Portent. Yeah.
Portent. Yeah. We're coming up vocabulary today. I got to burp again.
I love you turning off first. That's great.
He probably caught it, but
this mine's quieter.
Yeah. So hopefully y'all didn't hear it. But we're doing great, Jen. How are you? Is there a cryptid you want to see? We're talking about cryptids today.
See if I can just be able to tell your friends, yeah, I saw this fucking thing.
Do you want to talk about your experience? Actually, this is a great time.
I got one I do, but it's not that experience.
Okay, I want to hear this one. I probably have heard it.
I have to, before we leave Bigfoot forever, like forever, leave him in the past because he was earlier, I have one final Bigfoot closing thought I do want to say.
Okay.
That's okay. So obviously every state has a Bigfoot. But the Bigfoot over on the West Coast, that's the Bigfoot. That's like the one that people love.
Yeah.
Did you know that in the past 5 years, I had to type them out because it blew my mind so much.
Oh, you have notes written down? I love it.
There has been a syndicated TV show called Finding Bigfoot, one called Expedition Bigfoot, one called $10 Million Bigfoot Bounty, one called Bigfoot, I Saw It, one called The Bigfoot Files, one called Bigfoot Encounters, and another called Bigfoot is Real, all in just the past 5 years.
Now, have we seen Bigfoot on those shows?
What? No, we have not for some fucking reason. But
That's why I love ghosts.
You know where we did see Bigfoot, though? In the 1975 classic, The Legend of Bigfoot. It's a documentary, and it has a clip of Bigfoot. It looks like dog shit. Is
that the one where it's like...
No. That's the famous Bigfoot clip. This is not famous at all. Do you remember when Edgar and I did the 24 movie marathon?
How long ago? High school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, while we were doing that, the 17th movie, when we were already fully delusional and been locked in the room for like 30 hours, the 17th film was Legend of Bigfoot.
When was it made?
1975.
Okay.
1975. And it is made by a very controversial figure in the Bigfoot fandom. Like, what do you call that? The Bigfoot...
Bigfoot drama.
Yeah, I suppose.
Bigfoot community drama.
He's a really big figure in that, but he's very, very, very controversial. And he has dedicated all of his fucking life to Bigfoot. In 1975, he made this documentary that I remember being like the best fucking thing in the world because I hadn't slept in a very long time, and I was it was a special time. But the documentary is this awful, over-embellished... the man just wants to hear himself talk. It's great.
Okay.
And he does show a clip of Bigfoot he got, and it's clearly fake. I love it. But there's some Bigfooters that believe it's real. But there's a quote in that movie that I love so much, and I want to share this quote with you, because it touched Edgar and I in our hearts and in our pants. And the quote, as it goes, is... And I saw Bigfoot across the river way, his eyes glowing fiery orbs. And as I approached him, he disappeared behind a rainbow. And the concept of my Bigfoot being able to teleport with rainbows is my favorite Bigfoot ever.
Bigfoot has been inside you all along.
Bigfoot's the friends he made along the way. We knew that. We knew that going in. But honestly, if you if you want to get fucked up and watch a really bad documentary about a man who believes in Bigfoot in a way that is overly spiritual, please check out 1975's A Legend of Bigfoot. It is one of the best.
Good girl Jen says Bigfoot is my husband. Oh, ex-husband, just saying.
Damn.
Bigfoot is actually just a leprechaun with a hormone imbalance.
Whoa, that's an unfortunate hormone imbalance. That's a big old leprechaun.
There was actually a man I found out that was a dwarf and a giant in the same lifetime, and I forgot his name, but at 20, he had some... I'm not good at retelling things because I forget basic shit, but he had he developed some kind of where's the word? Anyways, he became a giant, and there's actual, like,
that's so
documentation.
Fun.
Can you imagine the pain in growing that long? Like,
so he's
you know how you see guys in school with canes?
Yeah.
Like,
so he's like a dwarf as a child, and then
and then hit the age
of
20, and then he had some giant
I need to read about him.
It's some kind of syndrome that happens.
I love that. That is wild.
At 20.
He had the
at
most
least post-puberty.
cursed existence ever.
I don't think you stop growing until 25. So something happened at 20.
Yeah, your cells stay all alive.
I'm still waiting for some shit to come in. You know what I mean? Shit. But, let's see. I just love the hormone imbalance. But, what's some other ones we want to talk about? We just finished Bigfoot.
So, I do have a singular cryptid tale, but it's not the one you're thinking.
No.
And it is very stupid, but it is true. And if you
I love stupid and true. That's our everyday life. That's our friendship. Stupid and true.
So me and one of my ex-girlfriends, we were.
Do I know this
one?
We
were prowling about. No, I don't think so. Anyway, we were prowling about, and we were in my Ford Explorer, and we, for reasons that I will not get into, we were parked behind a donut shop. And
now, where was this?
It was in Katy.
Katy. Okay.
And it was like 2 a.m.
Okay.
And we're parked behind this donut shop, and everything is going hunky-dory, and it's all a good time. And then there, right behind the donut shop, there's just a very thin strip of cement. And then behind that, it's not a field. It's not like a farming field. It's just a big plot of grass, but the plants in it were really tall. They're probably 4 foot, 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
And we're parked there, and we're whatever, and suddenly I see movement in that, and I'm like, what is that? And I see it again, and I'm like, that is not moving like a dog or something, but it's clearly not a person. Like, what the fuck is that? Mm-hmm. And I can't really make it out, and I see this creature. And I'm right now, for this part of the story, I'm just going to say creature. I'll make it more accurate in a second. But I see this creature, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, I've never seen anything like that in here, especially in Texas. Like, whatever the hell this is. And then this big old pickup truck, just massive, it's lifted, and it's got like all the like hunter's lights on the front.
Yeah.
Like, basically peels into this area and like whips around and goes right into the field. And there's 2 guys in the bed of the pickup truck, and one has a gun. And the guy in the like driver's seat, as he like whips around, he sees that the car we're in has us in it, and he goes, and I'm like, roll down my window. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you see that thing? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, it's the goddamn chupacabra. And I was like, and here's where the story actually gets.
Now, was it bipedal? Was it like?
Here's where the story somehow gets weirder. So I don't know how. I am like 90% certain it was a kangaroo. But here's the thing. Like, this is Katy, Texas. Why the fuck is there a kangaroo? But these guys, they knew it was the fucking chupacabra. And they literally, there's movement in the woods, and they in the grass, and they literally, like, pursue it off, going chupacabra hunting. And I turn, I'm just like, was that like a big kangaroo? Yeah, what the fuck? I don't know.
Okay, maybe what's happened is, you know how people have tigers and lions and legally?
It's the only explanation here.
I know.
Yeah.
But what if it was the chupacabra? So it looked like a kangaroo.
Yeah, it looked like a kangaroo. It was up on its hind legs, but it was like lightly hunched over, and then it had a long head. But it was
the chupacabra.
It was a fucking kangaroo.
It was.
But those hunter guys knew it was a chupacabra, and they were so excited about it. And they didn't like ask me like, "What do you think that was?" It was, "Did you see it?" And I said yes. And then, "Here's the goddamn chupacabra." I was just so tickled by how certain they were that that's what it was.
Well, the thing is, maybe you didn't get it. Maybe it looked like from a distance a kangaroo, but up close, it was definitely chupacabra.
It was definitely chupacabra. You know,
I just look at the C Street guys like, man, we're gonna make fucking money. We found it. And the goddamn chupacabra.
I won't lie though. There are times. There have been times where I've been laying there and I'll be thinking about that event. I'm like, what if that fucking...
I wish you went after it.
What if it was?
I wish you went after it. What if you could have made millions?
Definitely.
Or you could have been in trouble for trying to poach an illegal kangaroo.
Yeah, why was there a kangaroo in Katy, Texas?
Katy's pretty suburb. It's pretty suburban.
Very, very suburban.
I mean, we have parts that are swampland and marsh and forested.
But for the most part, it's very suburban. And where we were was way more suburbia.
Like you would probably see an alligator before you see a coyote.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
we have alligators on the golf courses.
I did see a coyote actually recently. Really recently. I did.
Don't let Poppy out.
It wasn't near here.
Okay, good.
But it wasn't kidding.
We need to bring Poppy here. So Poppy's his dog. Okay. So CS Switch said, or CS Witch, is it CS Witch or C Switch? Can relate to the unreal feeling of what the fuck is that? Not as dramatic, but I once saw a white badger. Ooh, weird. Which is completely real and present in my country, but still quite rare. I was severely out of touch with the reality for a couple hours trying to understand. Well, here's my experience.
I get that.
And the thing is, it wasn't until I researched it, and if I didn't have the knowledge, I would be freaked out. So when we went to Robin and Riley's wedding, I went to go take the trash out. We were all cleaning. I saw it was huge. It was a huge crow. It was this big. I swear to fucking God, it was huge. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, like, what
Zeus
the hell?
is here. Odin has sent a one-eyed raven. And
I love that.
Like, but I was like freaked out because I've never seen such a large black bird. And it wasn't like a stork, or it wasn't, something like that. Not a stork, a stork.
No, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
it wasn't
like
a crane. Thank you. It wasn't like a black crane, but it was a huge, big. And it turns out, I think ravens can't get that big. I just didn't know, so I thought I was like, I am privy to a wood monster, to a Central Texas demon.
I love it.
And I think it was just trying to get trashed.
Ravens are really fucking big.
They're huge.
We only ever see rooks.
I have dreams about ravens all the time, so I like to think of it as a good omen.
I like that.
I think it was also just a bird trying to get fucking free food. But in my head, I'll be like, Odin has sent me a message. Apollo has gifted me with visions.
Also, because ravens can do that macaw thing and like copy human talks, it would be really fun if it was like Ashley.
Yeah, I would piss myself.
Yeah, I believe it.
I
absolutely believe it.
I could see Robert be like, "What's wrong?" And me be like, I was just visited by
by Odin.
Yeah, by Odin. No big deal. No biggie.
Human immunity came down.
I am the second coming of a savior for the world. I mean, he just said it. Let's see.
Also, one kill quota. It being Texas is why it's true. Like, you're not wrong.
There are enough tiger attacks at Houston that we have a law firm just for it.
We do. Yeah, by where I used to live. They're called push.
Where are these tigers?
Rich people just having tigers and buying tigers.
We are not friends with the right people. No offense, Dan. You don't have a tiger.
Yeah, there's a law firm called Push and Win, and one of their things that they advertise all the time is, "Have you been injured by a tiger?" Thumbs up, Houston, Texas, everybody.
Oh, by the way, if you visit Thailand, don't go pet baby tigers because they drug them.
I'm aware.
I know. But, C-Switch actually made a good point. It kind of put me back in touch with what being a child is like, genuinely not understanding what you're seeing, which rarely ever happens as an adult. Because we are also, when we talk about cryptids, we're talking about the possibilities of what that means. Like,
absolutely.
With Wendigo, it could be a type of rabies. It could be a type of illness. But when you see things that just don't comprehend, it kind of sends you back into, magic is real. Magic is real.
And I'll also say that, you ended that comment with a ha-ha, but there's no need for the ha-ha. There's something so incredible about that feeling, and that we lose it as an adult. And I think all of us in some way want it again. That's why we like to be scared.
I think that's why we drop acid.
No, seriously. We're all just looking for that sense of wonder again. And it's part of the reason why some people believe in shit that they know deep down isn't true.
But it's fun. This stuff is fun to us. He definitely believes in ghosts because of his experiences.
I believe ghosts 100%.
I want to believe in things because what else is there to life if all you have is taxes and common sense and science? Love science. Science is great. It's the key to understanding everything. But sometimes it's more fun when it's magical.
Yeah.
And when you don't know things.
But even that kind of ties back to what you said earlier, where ultimately, magic's just the shit we don't know yet. And there used to be so much we didn't know, so it was all kind of magic.
And it's great to be educated. It's great to be on top of things, but at the same time, you do lose a bit of the, I studied animation, and I still love animation, but there are some things I'm like, I know how they did this. Or you
it's not just real on the screen to you. Yeah, you understand the underpinnings.
Or when you work on games, you know how. Not speaking of various games, but there are other games where it's like, oh, that was hacked together, and I can tell. Not speaking of games I've worked on, but just you. It's easy to read the writing on the walls.
Right. Also, I just didn't enunciate. Not injured by a tiger. I don't like that. No, injured. injured by a tiger.
I mean, you know that tiger from Zootopia? It looks like he could treat me right.
Or if we go back to talking about were creatures, I mean, a hot were tiger.
If you would be, if y'all were a were creature, what would you be?
Unfortunately, not that I want to be one because I don't like.
I want to be a were unicorn.
Just like look at me and look at the shape of my head.
You'd be a werewolf.
I'm a were lion.
Oh yeah.
And I'm just.
That's a great one.
And I wouldn't want to be that, but I already am.
I have no idea what I would be. I feel like I would be something small and annoying.
Where rainbow boa?
I would be a were. That's my animal. I love rainbow boas. Activision spends more time on their store than fixing bugs.
Yeah, that's true though.
I mean, when you have the money, goddamn, what's it like having money? I just want to know.
We'll never know.
I just want to know. What's it like having so much money? You're like, they'll fucking play it. We can shit on it. Yeah.
Like probably fucking Pokemon Company?
This isn't the time for that, but I completely understand. If we start talking about it, I will go off in a rage of why I don't really play Pokemon games, because it's literally the most famous IP in the world, and they don't fucking make it look good. And how does it break? How does it have bugs? If Breath of the Wild is the best looking game, sorry, I can't.
Can I say one thing? Just one thing about it?
Where Aardvark?
We won't go on a tangent.
Okay.
Just one thing. So I am playing the new Pokemon, and about 3 hours into it, my character's face got stuck going.
Is it still stuck?
And it got stuck for the next 19 hours of gameplay. But it's great because at certain moments when you accomplish something big, it takes a big screenshot that's like, yay, you did this. And then all of those screenshots, my character just... I've seen the cooking scenes. Oh, they're so funny.
They're so good.
They're so fucking funny.
They're so fucking... They're just like...
Also, the game's frame rate is like a 10 frames per second. I love
it. A were aardvark, a were platypus. I'd probably a were raccoon.
Were platypus?
Because I would dig through trash and just eat.
Were raccoon?
And I want to be fat and cute and just be like...
I'm okay with it. I don't love it. I feel like there's a better one for me.
I would be a better one for me.
But I like it. Don't get me wrong.
But I could see you as a were lion. But if you guys haven't watched it, True Blood is a really fun, hokey series. It's fantastic. It's also got some very sexy men, very sexy scenes. You did say a were raccoon. That's where I had it in my head. Thanks, One Kill Quota. Because that's actually a great idea. But let's see. What's another cryptid that...
I was actually about to say, it's we're about at the 2-hour mark.
NASA has a cryptid. The NASA gargoyle.
I did not know this.
Yes. So supposedly the story is a guy was walking out. He worked at NASA. He walked out real late, and then he goes and looks at the building for whatever reason. Maybe he heard something. And this is something I found on the internet. I'm just going to put that out there. And what he saw was a gargoyle-like figure. Wings, black, glowing eyes. And maybe it was just an avid cosplayer of the show Gargoyles, And
the
so
90s Disney classic.
And then he's freaked out. He told his boss, yeah, we know about it. We have a whole documentation on it.
Yeah.
Supposedly it's a thing at NASA.
They had NASA.
That's just, it was my I think that's my favorite cryptid.
I love it.
The net, because it's so
what the fuck
NASA?
is that? Yeah.
And let's see. Yeah, that's it for me. I think we're at that 2-hour mark.
Yeah,
Come on.
I think we're at a natural kind of conclusion spot.
Otherwise, we'll start talking about Pokemon. We're Panda, but like the Panda in Tekken, but also very dangerous. Every time I play a Tekken game, I want to learn martial arts. I really want to learn bow staff, but I really just want to use it to beat up my friends. Just get on my friends.
Honestly, if there's anything to be learned from today's particular topic and this particular ramble and this brand of ADD, I think it's the fact that if you're starving and you're really, really hungry and the only bite you got to eat is a family or a friend, maybe it's not worth the Wendigo you'll become.
It's not worth it. But at the same time, if you do it, let us know so we can study you.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, but we're not going to be in a room with you. We'll be terrified. We'll watch you from a distance. So if you do decide to eat a person, let us know. We won't tell the authorities. It's fine. And then we can see it live. Oh, we can lock them up.
And we can stream it, of course.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Oh, is this guy going to turn to a Wendigo? Subscribe now to learn more. Fucking kill me, man. That made me want to shoot myself. Yeah.
What even is that?
But anyways, you guys, so I think going forward, maybe next week we'll be on this channel. We will be having our own channel. Please, if I'm going to be promoting it in my comments when I stream personally, because this is my personal stream. I can't talk. My personal stream channel. I am Hack Attack. My name is Ashley. This is Kyle. We've been friends forever and ever, and this is what we love, and this is something we've really wanted to do for a long time because nothing is more fun than two best friends talking about stupid shit. Yeah. And this is our favorite brand of stupid but interesting and creepy shit.
Hell yeah.
But anyways, we love y'all. Thank you for coming to Ghost House. I'm just going to start saying thanks for coming to Ghost House.
Yeah, it's Ghost House. That's the name of the show.
Ghost House. I love it. Black Shuck, man. That's pretty good. But,
Next week, next episode, we're going to be talking about various legends of anti-clauses.
Like Krampus.
Think like Krampus. There are hundreds of them, and some of them are still believed in today, unlike Santa. So.
And I want to see if, because I know most of the European folklore when it comes to anti-clauses. I want to go deep into other regions of the world.
We'll talk about Christmas Cat. We'll talk about the whole thing.
I can't wait. But you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining us. Ghost House Monthly. Ghost House! Thank you, Monkey. But obviously, have a good night, Josh. But you guys are good. Be safe. And I will be streaming on Wednesday BioShock. Because I've never played it, but I love you. Mwah.
You guys are beautiful.
They are beautiful. They're my bitches. I love them. Bye, guys.